This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on 10 January 2026. Welcome back to You've Already Been Hacked. We are starting off 2026. I know we took a few weeks off there at the end of the year, but I think it was rest well needed and deserved from both myself and, as always, my co-host in crime, cybercrime, Cyber Cowboy. Cowboy, welcome to 2026.
Happy 2026, my friend. I am ready to, like the professor, needed some downtime. It was good. Trying to reset and go start strong here in 2026. Luckily, there's never a shortage of stories to report in the cyber world.
Jeez, never. We could have not taken off and just had full weeks of coverage. We could have had like live coverage round the clock. It just seemed like 2025 just didn't want to let go of anything. And here we are starting off in 2026 and right away starting off at the user level that it could impact literally, I don't know, 90% of computing platforms or more in the world. CISA has flagged Microsoft Office and HPE OneView flaws as actively exploited. These are level 10 alerts and level 9 alerts, respectively. So the U.S.
Gosh.
cybersecurity, this is bad. U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has just added 2 high-impact vulnerabilities to their known exploited vulnerability catalog. The first one being Microsoft Office CVE 2009-0556, which is a privilege escalation flaw that can be triggered via malicious document attachments. Nothing new, right? Malicious document attachments have been around for a while, but this one is particularly gnarly. And then HPE OneView CVE 2025-37-16-4 is an authentication bypass that allows remote attackers to gain admin rights on HPE server management platforms. CISA cites concrete evidence that the threat actors are actively weaponizing these bugs. The Office flaw can affect every Windows machine that possesses Office files, while the HPE issue threatens the backbone of data center management and enterprise systems worldwide. CISA is urging all users to apply patches immediately and to audit logs for suspicious activity. This matters because, like I said, Microsoft Office runs on, I don't know, 90-ish%, maybe more, of corporate desktops, unless you're running something that's Linux based and not running some compatibility layer to do that. It just is that ubiquitous right now. And if you're not running Microsoft Office, you probably are interacting with those that do, so you have Office documents on your systems. HPE OneView manages thousands of servers in mission-critical environments. This flaw signals that 0 days are still in the wild and still being actively found and exploited, and attackers are ready to use them. And if this is successful, this is a pure avenue for ransomware, for data exfiltration, for supply chain attacks, especially on the Office side. As for the OneView side, the breach could cripple your IT operations and lead to massive downtime. So, Cowboy, what should we be doing about this? Well, as we always say, patch now and patch often. Both of these have had patches issued. So do your Office updates if you haven't done them, and do your OneView security patch. Specifically for OneView, the patch is version 2026-02 for those that are running HPV OneView. Verify the integrity of your files if you have file integrity checkers, enable MFA, and provide least privilege, something we harp on all the time, and deploy advanced threat protection. Use endpoint detection devices, or EDR, that could correlate file-level anomalies within Office documents. And be ready and update your playbooks. Cowboy?
Yeah, so want to hit on the HPE one specifically because that is the level 10, right? Like it does not get worse. And why? Because OneView sits at a privileged control plane for enterprise infrastructure, which means once you gain access, right? We already said it, admin rights right away. It's keys to the kingdom. Oh, by the way, how bad is it? There's already a module in Metasploit for this. for those that don't know what Metasploit is, it is a beautiful pen testing software, Kali Linux, which is publicly available to everybody. So script kiddies on up through uh, elite hackers all have a module within that to take advantage of this. So, um, you know, yeah, this is like red flags, hoist the sails. Jolly Roger is flying. The professor said there's a patch out. Like prioritize, call somebody in. It doesn't matter. That one you got it. If that's on your enterprise network, you got to get after it right
You
away.
gotta get after it right away. Yes, you do. Uh, in our next story, China hacks U.S. congressional committee emails. Salt typhoon espionage has hit the Capitol.
This sounds familiar.
Just a little bit, doesn't it? Chinese intelligence actors have carried out a sophisticated campaign. Maybe. I have, anything involving email. I don't know how sophisticated it is these days, but sure, we'll go with that. Targeting email accounts of U.S. congressional committee staff as part of, and let's just say that maybe not everyone in Congress is tech savvy. My opinion. Just throwing that out there. That might be a hot take, Cowboy. You let me know.
Are,
Um,
are you saying some of the 90-year-old Congress people we have might not know how to use a computer?
It could be a generational divide on technology. That's possible. Maybe. But U.S. congressional staff as part of the broader Salt Typhoon espionage effort. The intrusion leveraged spear phishing emails with malicious attachments, exfiltrating sensitive legislative research and draft bills. The breach was detected after unusual login patterns from a foreign IP address. So, this matters because it's good old fashioned political espionage that's compromising lawmakers and undermining national security and our democratic process. It's a supply chain threat as well because the attack used legitimate office documents illustrating how ordinary software can become an attack vector. I wonder if this story and our top story are at all related. And
Hmm.
global implications. Signals are rising as a trend of cyber espionage against high profile institutions worldwide is taking more of a grip. Now, we look, espionage is espionage. Going after government officials and government information, that is as old as time itself when it comes to political statecraft.
Hmm.
Um, I don't I don't know though that this type of effort, well, if it is happening frequently, it's not happening frequently with success, or it is, it's going underneath the radar. So when something like this hits news, it is news, right? Like the last big one I can think of would be SolarWinds, unless there's one in between there that I'm not really considering. What are your thoughts, Cowboy?
Yeah, I mean that was the last big supply chain like major impact type of attack. Arguably, I think we've seen an increase in Salt Typhoon getting after stuff, and you said at the top of the story like everybody does it. We do it to each other. It's happened, all the way back as far back as you want to go, even even analog, right? Stealing of the letters carried by uh, uh, I forget what they're called back in the day on horseback, right? Anyway,
Couriers,
yeah, like couriers, right? Like, thank you. I was having trouble pulling that one out tonight.
2026, getting the
Yeah,
rust off.
they go after kind of everything. Interesting to see. What we don't know is was this actually targeted or by accident? Arguably, it probably was targeted. Interesting to see, but it makes sense from a state standpoint that they want to know bills and budgets being proposed, right? To kind of get an idea of where we're going, where we're potentially going, right? You can gain
Yeah.
strategic insight from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised per se by the fact that our legislative committees are being targeted. I would think they're being targeted relentlessly every day.
Hmm.
Um, surprised that an email attack worked at this point? Question mark. I don't know. How do you feel
I
about
mean,
that? I joked about there being a generational divide in understanding technology. Okay, but to put the joke down, like phishing is definitely something that, like, we all know is out there now, and phishing PH,
Yeah,
right? Just to be clear with everybody.
right. And it
I
said it
would
was
as
hitting staffers, right? So
but
probably
okay,
not the 90-year-olds.
right, so, like, this should be familiar. My concern is, if it worked, is this what we have, could large language models have been involved in crafting of the emails and the content in such a way? And I don't know this. I have no knowledge. My guess would be yes, right? Because the general level of phishing attempts is going up. Now, I still get a tonnage of worthless stuff that is just delete, delete, delete. But there is some stuff that comes in that's far craftier.
Oh
So
yeah,
maybe that's what was used here. Maybe I would put that out there.
I would, if I was a bet man, I'd say probably because Salt Typhoon is a Chinese state attributed to the Ministry State of Security. So they've probably got all the bells and whistles available to them. But still, like, it really irks me. I kind of want to call the Capitol and be like, "What's your cyber training, right?" Like, I bet you the answer is we don't have any, right? Or it's minimal. And you've you've got there's a very, very fine line of like holding somebody accountable for this stuff.
Yeah,
Not that we can hold anyone in DC accountable for anything ever,
sure.
but and that's for the last forever. But yeah, this they they need to understand, they being congressional staffers all the way up, have to understand that they are like top 5 targets, and they've got to slow down and be careful about what they're looking at in there. And they got to know it's coming in email, right? I know that. It's there's
Good luck.
going to be phishing. Yeah, but it's frustrating.
Good luck convincing them.
Yeah.
I'll hold my digital breath, and we'll see how long it takes my bits to rot first.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, not unexpected. Interesting that they got through with uh, a tried and true attack vector and not something exotic, right? That's the one
Right.
part that's just
Right.
like, wow,
That's
maybe
what's disappointing about it.
yeah, that's, I guess, a little disappointing, but I think you hit on the key part there, which is speed, right? They're probably looking at stuff so fast, they're not really checking it, they're not really confirming where it came from, like all the things we in the cybersecurity sector harp on that people should do. They're moving at breakneck speed, sometimes exceedingly long hours. Um, when
Sure.
I worked at the
Ac
White House, my daily Monday through Friday was like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I kind of
Sure.
get the grind. And if you're
Yep.
exhausted and you're not going to do all those things, you're just not. So
Yeah.
they're definitely, the human fallibility is definitely playing into this.
Yeah. Accidents happen, right? It could have been that. Um, but too often, right? Kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Like we gotta reduce
Well,
the cost of business.
if yeah, well, it this goes back to the systems that we use are inherently not designed for that robustness, right? Like, email is not a secure platform. No matter what anybody
Right.
says, and PKI and blah, 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 it's not. It was never designed to be it was designed to be a transmission mechanism for communication first. So I think the bigger problem here is we are using technology vehicles and methodologies that were implemented and designed before security was a consideration at the level that we need it to be considered at today. So what we really need, which is going to be extra painful, is a paradigm shift to some other medium. But we see the current other mediums available are also doing a terrible job. So I don't have a solution.
Yeah. I mean, if we come up with a solution, we are the next Elon Musk, and I really look forward to that. I hope you've got some ideas.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, we've reported on all the encrypted chat systems being taken advantage of, right? So, um, but hey, that's why we have shifted away from defense in depth to assume breach, right? Like the perfect defense has not been found. There's always a way in or around, and we just have to understand that and get after it accordingly.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
I agree. Okay, let's see. Let's go on to our next story here, shall we? So, credential stuffing surges
Yes.
are hitting online casino platforms, the jackpot of data breaches. A recent analysis by the Hoover Institute revealed a dramatic uptick in credential stuffing attacks targeting online casino accounts. Attackers are leveraging stolen credential datasets from unrelated breaches to access gaming platforms, siphoning both personal data and in game currency. The trend underscores the high value of gaming credentials and the lack of strong authentication controls in the sector. This matters because obviously financial loss, regulatory scrutiny is
Mhm.
going to come down hard upon these as more of this is happening, and it's a skills transfer issue, right? Attack techniques mirror those used in high value sectors. So, I mean, casinos make a a small amount of money, I would say, Cowboy, just a
A
tiny amount.
little
But yeah,
bit.
I mean, compared to other sectors that are getting hit, I would say it's it's interesting that this is now just becoming another attack surface that is being used to siphon resources.
Well, I think, using the little bit of revenue that casinos typically
Small,
get, especially the big
tiny amount of
ones, it's
revenue,
tiny, tiny
tiny amount.
amount. Probably not even as much as I make every year, but um, I think they've done a good job of hardening their physical casinos, right? Even though there's a big uh, change in how much of that is online, virtual, digital, right? They've still done, I think, a very good job of protecting their in-house stuff. But I think they saw the iGaming and online stuff and apps as a quick, like, there's big money out there to be made, go fast, right? And they don't care. I don't think they care. I'll say that. I don't think they care if, the customers or gamblers' money gets took, right? They
Mhm.
might care because then they can't get it, but they don't. I don't think they really care all that much if my online casino account gets hacked and all the money I had linked to it, right, gets taken. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and with the uptick of a lot of the online gambling in the U.S., you know what I mean. You can bet on
Anything
anything
now.
now. It
Anything.
is
Yeah.
ridiculous. How many times is this dog gonna pass gas today can be bet on and have odds. And so this is like we see a ton of money, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars stolen in banking Trojans and banking app Trojans, right? And other man in the middle stuff. And this is the same thing, but a softer target.
Yeah. Oh,
So I don't feel surprised about it, right? And here's the thing: the you know addicted gamblers, if you will, probably aren't having really good elaborate passwords. Make me money 2026 is probably their password, right? Like,
yeah, and to your point, like I would say your traditional casinos have hard um
mm,
security. Like that obvious for obvious reasons, right?
mhm,
But because of the proliferation of casino or gambling, I would say maybe not casino directly, but definitely gambling based platforms.
yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely much more opportunity space for malicious actors to be successful than there has been in previous years. And it's just getting worse because the gamification of finance, and that's really what it is, if you want to put a positive spin on it, which is not that positive, is astounding. The fact that you could use your brokerage platforms now, some of them, not all of them, and I won't mention which names, to gamble is kind of frightening. And I just think that this is just opening up more surface area because it's speed to market again, not uh minimum viable secure product.
yeah.
Okay. In another kind of frightening uh update and turn in the AI space, OpenAI has announced Chat GPT Health.
I'm
Uh
so excited.
which oh, there's some caveats on this. OpenAI's latest preview, ChatGPT Health, introduces a dedicated medical knowledge base that automatically flags when a user's question has medical context. The feature promises to provide users with reliable health information and symptom triage. However, the increased public exposure of AI medical content raises concerns about misinformation, privacy, and potential exploitation of new API endpoints. Also, while this may be a database of medical information, even OpenAI has said consult your physician before taking the advice of the chatbot. So yeah, not that you shouldn't do that. You should definitely always consult your physicians first. Um, Primary care doctor, urgent care, whoever you have that you can get to. Um, because I don't care how good the bots are at this point, and they're getting quite good. Uh, Drift or hallucination still a thing, and I would prefer not for a bot to diagnose me with cancer when I don't have cancer. Cowboy?
Well, I put your symptoms in the ChatGPT Health earlier today, and it said that you maybe you have network connectivity problems.
Oh, that's
So
100%.
yeah,
I would never doubt
shout
that for a second.
shout out to Parks and Rec. Love that show. Love you, Chris Pratt. If you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show, and we don't even have to talk cyber. Uh, so when I saw that story, I was chomping at the bit for that joke. Um, yeah, I mean, folks, like the people who are going to use this and use it poorly are the same people who ask, the community Facebook page the same stupid questions, right? And you're just
Yeah.
like, why are you asking this group of tards? Like, go to your doctor or go to your mechanic or go to the licensed professional for which you're asking this question, and people are answering so stupidly it makes you want to choke everybody in it. So, it maybe quick, get an idea, right? But at the end of the day, if
I
it's
mean,
that bad, go in.
it's 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 another form of WebMD, right? Not to
Yeah.
conflate. I don't know if there's a deal there. I don't want to sorry WebMD if you have nothing to do with this. But as an example, like if you didn't know what you had, right, before going to a doctor, I would say definitely within the last decade, one of the things you would do is you search online for your symptoms to try and get an idea of what's wrong with you, and then you might go to your doctor and talk about it, right? So and the idea and the concept there, at least when I have done it, and I am definitely a person that has done this, is so that you have a relative idea of what could be wrong. So maybe you can have a semi informed conversation with your doctor as opposed to just blanketly accepting whatever the doctor's telling you, right? I would not say educated because unless you're a medical professional or have medical experience, you're probably not educated in it. And reading an article or two or 12 or 25 online is not going to educate you at the level of someone that went through
Mhm.
training for this. But you could at least have a better idea so that when they do talk, you understand more of what they're saying to you as opposed to not, or at least you're able to ask questions. Or if the doc is saying it could be a number of things, you could be involved in that conversation. That I think is a healthy thing.
Sure.
And if what OpenAI has produced can help you do that, I am all for it, right? But to your point, you could spend 15 minutes on WebMD and think you have cancer by the time you're done based on the fact that you have lower back pain.
Yep.
This is
Or
going
if you
to
don't know how to prompt, ChatGPT Health the right way,
yes,
right? It's going to misinterpret what you're asking it, which
exactly.
more often or not, I think is what's going to end up happening, right? Like, I know
Well,
someone in my life who Googled and researched symptoms and even numbers from tests and was very, very upset because they thought they had some liver failure, and the doctor was like, no, no, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
that's fine, we can bring those numbers down, it doesn't mean liver failure, right? Like, so that quick real life story to just be like, yeah, use it to help spawn a conversation with a actual licensed professional.
Yeah, I don't see that as a negative. One other concern I have with this is again, chat logs are chat logs, and they're
Mm.
being recorded, and they can be used. So the fact that you're looking at this and interested in this topic, and you're querying on it, that could end up as a record of some point later on down the line. And what happens when insurance companies start making deals with these LLM providers, right?
Oh,
It's another thing to be concerned with.
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Yes. All right. In our last story, Red Hat unveils secure AI deployment architecture. Here's a blueprint for protecting AI-driven systems. This could be a good one. Red Hat's
Mhm.
new blog post this past week outlines an end-to-end architecture for deploying AI models safely. The framework incorporates secure enclave execution, continuous model monitoring, policy-based access controls, and more. It also addresses the emerging threat landscape of model theft, data poisoning, and adversarial attacks. All good. Somebody's pulling a playbook together, and why not be Red Hat? They're definitely big in the server side space. So this is great. I'm real happy
I
with
like
this.
it. I
This
like it.
matters because uh every industry is integrating AI and securing the life cycle of that product in your stack, whatever whoever your whether you're locally hosting it or getting it through a third party is essential and critical. The EU AI Act, the US AI Bill of Rights are pushing for safety standards. These are things that are coming online and causing regulatory pressures and operational resilience. Compromised models can lead to escalating failures in automated systems. Um, yeah, I'm. Thank you, Red Hat. Like another. This is there. It's not just running to market. It's going, hey, here's something that you guys could do as you integrate this stuff because you're gonna integrate it. And if you're not, you're falling behind. I don't
Mhm.
care who you are at this point. Like that's where we're at. Welcome to 2026. You may not like it, but this is the medicine. If you're not
Accept it.
integrating AI to some degree into your stack to accelerate your workflow, you're behind. That said, integrating it into your stack in a secure way is, dare I say, highly preferred at this point.
Yeah,
Cowboy?
and to the naysayers out there who are going like, "Oh god, none of the framework." No. Frameworks are great. They're there for a reason, but they're typically the bare minimum. So, at the bare minimum, you should be implementing the appropriate framework for whatever you are implementing. In this case, you now have an AI framework to get some of the basic defense and understanding mechanisms down in the beginning and not later.
Yeah.
So same, thank you, Red Hat. That was very proactive. Thanks for putting it out there. I haven't seen it, but I'll try to find some time to look at it. That way I can be judgy. But you know, Red
Well,
Hat, it has a history of being pretty good. So I feel good that it's probably a pretty good framework.
yeah, I mean, the guys at Red Hat don't mess around with security.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're, if you're in the server infrastructure side, Red Hat definitely probably touches your stack, and if it's not Red Hat, it might be a derivative of that. Um, they've been around in the game for a long time. They're going to if they're introducing a security framework, it's something to pay attention to. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay, so first show back, Cowboy. How you feeling?
I love it. I missed it when we were taking our break. I just love doing this show with you. I love this. This is such an important topic, and recently I've seen some very big colleges defund some of their major cybersecurity programs in a sense that are basically like the after school programs, right? Not curriculum, but the
Yeah,
major cybersecurity after school clubs that were doing the not curriculum, 10 years behind crap that the school probably has, but like the up to date, let's go do a capture the flag, let's get after our certification, let's do whatever to make you great. I've seen a handful, and I don't know by any means every single one, but in my small world, I've seen a handful completely lose their funding, which I'm like, what? Like you're defunding one of the most important things you should be funding. So, um, I hope that is a trend that is stopped and reversed immediately in 2026. And as always, I will end on my punchlines. OneView was supposed to centralize our infrastructure. Turns out it also centralized the bad guy's access point. I'm Cyber Cowboy. Happy 2026. Stay frosty.
And I'm the professor of CyberRisk. That's all the news we have for this week in our kickoff of 2026, and we'll talk again soon. If you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues and friends. Your support is how we are able to continue to make this content. Thank you.